Now, based on the Mendel's experiment, the production of gametes by the parents and the formation of the zygote and the kind of genotype formed during the F1 generation and F2 generation can be depicted very nicely in the form of a square known as Punnett square. This was developed by a British genetist, namely Reginald C. Punnett. Now, this in this way is very easy method to see that how the gametes get segregated and how the zygotes are formed during the F1 generation and F2 generation. Now, let's start from here. Suppose this capital T, it represents a tall plant, that is, let it be the male plant. And small t and small t represents the dwarf plant, and let us consider that to be the female plant. Now, during the formation of the gamete, what happened during the meiosis? There will be segregation of the contrasting alleles. Okay, so capital T and capital T will produce two kinds of gametes, one capital T and another capital T. They both are homozygous in condition. So capital T and capital T are homozygous, not heterozygous. Same kind of alleles are present. So the two gametes produced from this will be capital T and capital T. That is, it will be segregating, there will be segregation of the characteristic during the meiotic division. Similarly, in the case of the dwarf plant also, there will be segregation of small t and small t, that is, two gametes are produced from here and two gametes are produced from the tall plant. Now, let's see how the zygotes will be formed. So, here in the first column, you have to draw a square. In the first column, this capital, one of the gamete which has come from the this one tall plant fuses with a gamete which has come from the female plant to form a heterozygous condition, T and T, zygote. And here also this capital T will be combining with another small gamete which is obtained from the female here, and it also forms a heterozygous capital T and small t type of zygote. Now look at this. This capital T combines with this small t, it will be another capital T heterozygous zygote, that is capital T and small t. And in the fourth one also it is the same condition, it is all heterozygous. Now here, so there is segregation of the gametes during the meiosis division, and then you can see that there is also the formation. You can see here there is a heterozygous condition. One is dominant factor and other is recessive. So the dominant factor is recessive. So in that case it was found that all the plants generated during F1 generation was tall. The other character, that is, which is obtained from the dwarf plant, it remained hidden and it was not expressed in the F1 generation. So all the tall plants, in order to study it further, it was self-pollinated. So on selfing, that is, one of the capital T and small t and another tall plant, that is capital T and small t, was crossed again on selfing. So it produced again the 50-50% chances kinds of the zygote, that is gamete. So one of the gamete will be having the allele for the capital, other one will be the dominant small t, and another gamete process capital T and another one small t. Now let us draw this in the Punnett square to see what is the probability of the formation of the genotype of the zygote which is formed in the F2 generation. So in the F2 generation, what happened? One of the capital T, these are the gametes of the male, and then you have to draw a line to show this is the male gametes, and these are the two gametes which is obtained from the female plant. Now what happened? So this capital T of the male gamete with plant, it will be fusing with another capital T of the gamete, that is, which is obtained from the female. Similarly, this T will combine with the small t and another kind of zygote, that is capital T and small t will be formed. Now look at this here. Here also, always you must try the capital T first, and then here also there is an heterozygous condition, capital T and small t. Now come to the last one. In the last, this small t and this small t will combine, and the genotype of this kind of in this F2 generation, it will be small t and small t. So you can see that the ratio here, that is capital T and capital T, will be one of the probability. Second probability will be the capital T and small t. Third probability of the zygote will be capital T and small t. And last one will be small t and small t. So these are the genotypes which was obtained in the Punnett square. So you can see here, what will be the conclusion then? Phenotype is the external characteristic. So phenotype, what will be the ratio of the phenotype? So here, what is the dominant factor? Capital T. So these plants will be tall. Here also there is a capital T, the dominant factor. So this plant also was found to be tall. Now in this also there is a dominant factor capital T, that is a gamete. So this also, that is the allele for the tallness, it was also be tall. It was also found to be tall. But in the last one, where both the gametes were small t and small t, this plant was nothing but it was dwarf. So the ratio of the tall plant to the dwarf plant was nothing but 3:1. Okay, that was the ratio. So 3 top plants out of the whole variety, 3 plants were found to be, that is 75% of the plants was merely tall and 25% of the plants were found to be dwarf. So that is the phenotype, that is external characteristic. But now let's see what is the phenotype of these plants. The phenotype of these plants will be, that is capital T is to, that is the capital T and capital T is homozygous condition, capital T and small t is the heterozygous condition, and small t and small t is for the homozygous dwarf condition. That is the alleles for that. Now the ratio of that is how many tall plants, that is the homozygous tall was there? 1. How many heterozygous tall t and tall t? It was 2. So the ratio, that is 2 plants. And what is the ratio for the dwarf, that is which had the homozygous condition and where all the alleles it was the recessive, so that was found to be 1. So the genotype of this it was depicted over here. The phenotype was 3:1, whereas the genotype was found to be 1:2:1. So here, this calculation, it was seen that the trait which was, that is for dominant, that is for the recessive factor, that is for the dwarfness, the alleles, the pair of contrasting character was always the having the recessive gene, that is small t and small t, and only when the homozygous condition is there it will be expressed. It will never be expressed when there is an heterozygous and when there is a dominant factor available. That was one of the major inference which was drawn. And next one you can see here, that is this square, it was actually the probability of the tall plant to the dwarf plant, the phenotype, and actually the genotype also was was found to be studied and was proved to be right during the Mendel's experiment on pea plant. Based on the Punnett diagram, Punnett square, we have seen that how the probability of the genotype could be expressed, that is 1/4 was homozygous tall, 1/2 of the the genotype which was expressed, it was heterozygous tall t and small t, and the remaining 1/4 was expressed as the homozygous for recessive factor, that is small t and small t. So how it can be expressed? By the mathematical expression, that is binomial ax plus by whole square. So in that you can see that the first expression, that is half of the dominant factor plus half of the recessive factor, when you square it, you will be getting half t plus half recessive factor into half of the, that is a dominant factor and the recessive factor. So you can expand it in this way. Next one, what you can see, when you take the square, you will be getting here, that is when the factor is, the first factor is multiplied by the second factor, you will be getting here as 1/4 of capital T, which is the dominant factor here, and then plus you will be getting half of the heterozygous, that is capital T and small t. This is the homozygous condition alleles, this is a heterozygous, plus 1/4 of the, that is the homozygous recessive trait will be formed. So the ratio was 1:4, the ratio of the genotype which was found to be 1/4 of the dominant tall t and tall t, and 1/2 was the heterozygous condition of tall t and small t, and finally the last one, it was 1/4 of the small t and small t condition. So Mendel had clearly, through his experiments, he had carried out various mathematical logic and statistical analysis to come into the conclusion to derive the probability of what are the plants produced in the F1 generation, F2 generation, and as well as he was able to predict properly what will be the type of, what is the phenotype of that particular plants, and then the genotype of the plants. And at the same time, he also gave two important laws, that is law of dominance and law of segregation. Law of dominance is nothing but if there is an heterozygous condition, there is a dominant allele present and that will be expressed than the recessive one. The recessive allele will remain the hidden factor. It will not be expressed in the presence of a dominant factor. And when there is a homozygous recessive factor, to be expressed only when both are in the homozygous condition. Right. And then in the next class we'll be studying about what are the various other crosses or the tests which he had carried out, experiments he had carried out to find out whether the plant is in the homozygous condition or heterozygous condition.
So children, today we had discussed about Mendel's experimental material, Mendel's law of inheritance, Mendel's procedure, Mendel's observation, inheritance of one gene, Punnett square, law of dominance and law of segregation. Now the first one, that is a branch of science which deals with the inheritance and variation, is called genetics. The father of genetics is Gregor John Mendel. Mendel had performed experiments with garden pea, that is Pisum sativum is a scientific name, and the number of chromosomes in garden pea is 14, that is 7 pairs of chromosome. Inheritance and heredity, the definition, the process by which characters are transferred from one generation to next generation is called inheritance or heredity. Variation is nothing but the differences in traits of an individual of a progeny from each other and their parents are called variations. Reasons for selecting pea plant as experimental material by Mendel. So mainly why he had selected this, that is the experimental material was Pisum sativum. So pea plants are readily available on a large scale and mainly they produce bisexual cleistogamous flowers. Cleistogamous flowers means closed flowers. So what kind of pollination it undergoes? Self-pollination. And these plants are annual plants with short life cycle. So they complete their life cycle, that is vegetative process and reproductive process, both will be completed within 1 year. That is why he has selected these plants. So, and pea plants can be self-pollinated and can also be cross-pollinated. Number of easily detectable contrasting characters are available in these plants. They produce large number of seeds in one generation and they are easily maintained and handled. Now, these are the different characters which are present in the pea plant due to which Mendel has selected pea plant as his experimental material. Characteristics were based on 7 main characteristics, very important to learn. Stem height, flower color, flower position, pod shape, pod color, seed shape and seed color. So, the 2 characters with related to flower are with respect to its color and position. 2 characteristics with pod are pod shape and pod color. 2 characteristics which he took for seed is seed shape and seed color. And in that, there was contrasting characters. The dominant is tall, that is with respect to the stem height, and the recessive, the character which was not expressed, is dwarf. Flower color violet is dominant and white is recessive. Flower position axial, okay, is dominant and terminal is recessive. Learn this properly, you may get questions based on this. Pod shape inflated, dominant, constricted, recessive. Pod color is green is dominant, yellow is recessive, and seed shape round is dominant and wrinkled is recessive. And last one, seed color, yellow is dominant and green is recessive. So don't get confused with the pod color and seed color. Pod color green is dominant and yellow is recessive, but seed color yellow is dominant and green is recessive. Now the contrasting character with the diagrammatic representation, that is dominant, flower color purple, white is a recessive trait. Flower position axial position and flower present at the stem tip is the terminal position. Seed color yellow and green is recessive. Seed shape round is dominant, wrinkled is recessive. Pod shape inflated is dominant, constricted is recessive. Pod color green is dominant, yellow is recessive, and stem length, that is height, tall is dominant and dwarf is recessive. Now, true breeding lines, I told you, here Mendel had selected 2 breeding lines. That means he had grown the pea plants for several generations and then with continuous self-pollination, and thus the plants produced from that self-pollination, the seed produced by those plants were exhibited stable trait inheritance and expression for several generations like F1, F2, F3, F4 and all. and Mendel selected 14 true breeding pea plant varieties which were similar except for one contrasting character. Means all the pea plant had the same that is flower position with respect to seed shape and all, they were similar. But if it was a contrasting character, means with respect to height, it might be having a different property character. Now, how the for the cross pollination in the pea plant, what were the steps taken by Mendel? So, first step you have already learned this in the last chapter, that was emasculation. So, he took the flower on which the seed has to be produced, that is a violet flower, dominant. So, from that flower, the stamens were removed. So, that process is known as emasculation. And then in the second step, that is the white flower, which is a recessive. This is dominant, this is recessive. The transferred sperm bearing pollen from the stamens of the white flower to egg bearing carpel of the purple flower. So this is a female flower and this is a male flower. So it has been transmitted over here. And then pollinated carpel matured into a pod. This is the seed which was developed. Seed pod and the seeds developed over here. So these are hybrid seeds now. Okay. So planted seeds from the pod. So these seeds were planted and it was grown, and then the offsprings are the ones which were examined. It was found to be that all that is, it is known as the F1 offspring or filial one of generation offsprings were developed. So examined offsprings of all purple flowers. So that was the step taken by him. So there are two kinds of cross which we are going to study. First one is monohybrid cross. If the cross involves the study of inheritance of only one character in plants, is known as monohybrid cross. Such as if you take only height of a plant as a main factor, then we call it as monohybrid cross. But if the cross between two plants, if two traits are considered, then it is known as dihybrid cross, or it is known as that is inheritance of two genes or characters are being involved. For example, round and yellow, wrinkled and green. There will be the two pairs of contrasting characters for seed shape and seed color. Now, this is the diagrammatic representation of the monohybrid cross, that is with one contrasting character. So, we have taken one tall pea plant and a dwarf pea plant, and these were cross pollinated, and in that is the seeds produced from this tall and dwarf plant, this after the cross pollination, they were the hybrid seeds. So when the hybrid seeds were grown, it produced the tall plants only. So one of the parents' characters was not exhibited in the F1 generation. It was only the one of the parents' characters was exhibited in the F1 generation. And then these two plants, tall plants, were selfing, that is self-pollinated, and the seeds were grown again, and it was found that in F2 generation, that is the plants produced was in the ratio of 3:2. So 3, that is among the 4, or the 75% of the plants were tall and 25% of the plants were found to be dwarf. So the character which was hidden in the F1 generation was exhibited in F2 generation. So this was the basic for the law of dominance which he had stated later. Now inheritance of one gene, I told you, these are the steps which you have already explained it to you. So write it down neatly. Next, what was his observation? He observed that in F1 generation all pea plants were tall and none was dwarf. The pairs of traits found in F1 plant always resembled either of its parents, either tall or dwarf. In F2 generation, some of the offsprings were dwarf, that is the character not found in the F1 but were expressed in the F2 generation. The proportion of the plants that were dwarf were 1/4 of the F2 generation plants, while 3/4 of the plants were tall. So 75:25%. And they were very important one, there was no mixing of contrasting character either in F1 or F2. That means there were no plants which were of intermediate size, that is in between. The plants were either tall or dwarf. No medium sized plants were produced. So there was no mixing of contrasting character either in F1 or F2 generation. Only one of the parental traits was expressed in F1, while in F2 generation, that is, both the traits were expressed in the ratio 3:1. Now, what were the inferences? So, the first inference was genes, that is, there are certain factors were passed on from parent to offspring through gametes over successive generation, and it is known as gene. They are the basic units of inheritance, and alleles are nothing but genes which code for a pair of contrasting traits are known as alleles or allelomorph. They are slightly different forms of the same gene. Then, homozygous and heterozygous. These were also his inferences. The individual carrying similar alleles for a trait was known as homozygous, and the individual carrying different alleles for a trait was known as heterozygous. So, homozygous, we will represent it as capital T and capital T. We are taking the alphabetical letters, and small t for the recessive dwarf trait. And heterozygous will be capital T and small t. Then, dominant and recessive factor, very important. In a pair of dissimilar factor like T and T, capital T and small t, one factor dominates the other, and hence it is called the dominant factor, while the other factor is known as recessive. And in capital T and T, the factor T for tallness is dominant over T, that is recessive. Genotype and phenotype, please learn and understand this properly for the definition. It is the genetic constitution of the individual. What are the genes, basic genes present in an individual? Or it is a sum total of heredity or genetic makeup of the plant. Phenotype, that is TT or capital T and small t or small t and small t. But phenotype is the outer expression, visible expression of genetic constitution is called the phenotype of the plant. Like tall, dwarf, round, yellow, green, all those are phenotypes. But what is the gene present in it is known as the genotype. These are the phenotype, that is the external features. Now, when tall and dwarf plants produce gametes by the process of meiosis, very important, the alleles of the parental pair segregate and only one of the allele gets transmitted to a gamete. Thus, gametes are pure for a character and they are haploid in nature. They will get only one of the contrasting, that is the alleles in it. If it is T and T, capital T and capital T, there will be two gametes produced, and both the gametes will be having one capital T and one capital T, not the both. So, parents will be diploid and gametes produced by meiosis will be haploid in nature. Then, that is why they are pure for a character. And during fertilization, two alleles T from one plant and small t from the other parent are united to produce a zygote that has one capital T and one small t as alleles if there is a cross between a tall and a dwarf plant. Hence, the hybrid have capital T and small t and are heterozygous in nature. They have dissimilar alleles in them. Now, this was the one which I told you, the Punnett square. In Punnett square is nothing but Reginald G. Punnett. He has developed a technique to find out what is the ratio of genotype and phenotype. So in this is the tall plant and this is the dwarf plant. So he had made a square. You can write a square in this way or the regular square. And here these two represents the gametes produced by the tall plant and these two represents the gametes produced by the dwarf plant. It is written on this side. So for the male on one side and the female gametes on the other side. Now when you are writing it, that is in the square, you have to just take the one of the allele from the male and another allele from the female, and this is how the zygote is formed. So capital T and small t. Here also this T will be combining with this gamete and will form a zygote of which is having the genotype of T and T, that is capital T and small t. Here also capital T and small t. Here also capital T and small t. And as I told you what here, that is all dominant factors are present. So the plants produced by these were or tall in nature. That is the dwarf alleles, that is it was not, it was recessive, it was not exhibited in F1 generation. So when you are writing it, you must write here parents, then you have to write the gametes, then F1 generation, and this is the selfing which is of the F1 generation plants which was tall. Now write the gametes for this. So what are the two gametes? One will be capital T and one will be small t because they are heterozygous. And here also one will be capital T and other one will be small t. So what are they? These are called the gametes. And these are the, that is genotype of the parents. Both are tall plant but heterozygous. Here it was tall plant homozygous, dwarf plant recessive homozygous. Now you can show the zygote formation here. One capital T of this parent and one capital T of the other parent. So it will be capital T, homozygous T and T. Then here you can see that is this tall parent's capital T, one gamete will be fusing with one of the small t gamete of this parent, that is a male, this is a female parent. And here in this column you can see you have to take the and show the how the gamete is the zygote is formed. capital T from this parent, small t from this parent, and it leads to the formation of capital T and small t. And here what happened, so last one, it is small t combines with the small t of the other parent, and this is how the 4 different genotypes are formed. So what will be the ratio? So you can see here it is the capital T and capital T. So it is homozygous tall gene alleles for that. So the plant will be all tall in nature. This is the genotype over here. So capital T small t, capital T small t. So out of 4, the 50% of that is the heterozygous allele which zygote is formed. And the last one is homozygous recessive, small t and small t. So the phenotype, what will be the phenotype of this? So in this, what will be the nature of the plant? It will be tall. Here there is a dominant gamete over here, allele, that is tall. So this will be tall and this also will be tall. So, and what about this? Here both the genes, alleles which is obtained by this zygote is recessive, small t and small t. So this will be dwarf. So what will be the phenotype ratio? 3 plants will be tall and 1 plant will be dwarf. So what is the ratio of the phenotype? It will be 3:1. But what is the genotype? Are the genotypes same? They are different. So the genotype will be, that is 1 is capital T and 2 is capital T and small t, and 1 again it is small t and small t. So the ratio of the genotype will be 1:2:1. So this was a very easy method based on the cell cross pollination and the formation of the genotype and phenotype, which was done by Mendel by considering the mathematical and statistical analysis step for calculating the variations and inheritance of the genes from transfer of genes from parent to their offspring. Now, this is a Punnett square which we had discussed. It's a graphical representation to calculate the probability of all possible genotypes of the offspring in a genetic cross. And this, as I told you, that is here Mendel had included the mathematical expression. He had compared to that and it was proved to be right. So in that, the binomial expression of ax plus by whole square. So that was also considered into this, and it can see here half of capital T, that is dominant, plus half of small t whole square. If you take it, you can see that when you multiply these two, you will be getting the ratio in this form. That is 1/4 will be dominant capital T and capital T tall plants. Out of that, half of that will be heterozygous. This is homozygous. Heterozygous will be half of that capital T and small t, and homozygous recessive, that is small t and small t, will be only 1/4. So 1 is 1/4 is to 1/2 plus is to 1/4. So what is the phenotype? Phenotype is external experience. So tall plants and dwarf plant, the phenotype will be 3:1. Genotype will be capital T is to capital T, then capital T and small t, and small t and small t. So the ratio will be 1:2:1, or percentage you can see 25% of the homozygous tall, then 50% of heterozygous tall, capital T and small t, and 25% will be the homozygous recessive. So if there is a dwarf plant, the condition is very, very important. The dwarf plants will be produced only if both the alleles are small t and small t, but no other condition. All the other homozygous or heterozygous condition, only the tall plants are produced. So now let's see the laws. Law of dominance, that is characters controlled by discrete units called factors. These factors are called genes. Factors occur in pair. In a dissimilar pair of factors like heterozygous, one member of the pair is dominant while the other is recessive. So this is known as law of dominance, or the first law under law of inheritance. Next, law of segregation. This law states that though the parents contain two alleles during gamete formation, the factors or alleles of pair segregate, that is during the meiosis, and from each other, and that a gamete receives only one of the two factors. So this is the second law under law of inheritance, that is law of segregation. So I hope children, all of you have understood this. Now please write the notes neatly and submit it on time. Thank you.